Hey, boom, bam, shabam. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. If you're new here, or if you're old here, let me give a quick disclaimer real quick before we get into the meat of this video. Pardon me for a second. First of all, stay hydrated, y'all. Please. Second, typically speaking, or if you don't know, I try to get to the gist of where I want to get at because these videos typically are long as shit. So I try to get to the majority of what I want to get at in the first 5 minutes. Once I go past 5 minutes, that's usually when I try to be more into the specifics or into the certain details of, or expand certain thoughts and what have you. But with all that being said, ladies, gentlemen, and my fellow total strools out there, let's get into the meat of this video. Now, this one, funny enough, this one kind of came off the top of my head. Not off the top of my head, excuse me, y'all. This is something that I was watching. And I'm probably going to put his name down there so y'all can see who it is. It's a particular gentleman that I watch his podcast every now and then. It's called the Smith Speaks podcast on YouTube. And I put like the hashtag in the description bar or I put it in the what do you call it? In the comment section below. But anyhow, the reason why I'm bringing him up is because I was watching his latest episode today, and he brought up something that was very interesting about the word can't. Now, some of y'all who might have gone from, or you might have came up in, certain households, or you might have had certain teachers that go off and tell you, say, never say you can't. Or something along that lines. Or can't is not a word. That's another one you probably heard about. And just give you a quick summary as to what he covered in his particular episode of his podcast. He was essentially saying that when it comes to the concept of you can't, I think it creates, and I'm just telling y'all this was my takeaway from it. But always, like I said, I'll put a link in the description and or the comment section so you'll go check his video out. Anyhow, the gist of what I got from his video was when you say you can't, you're creating these excuses or you're enabling yourself to keep up poor behavior or bad habits because you psych yourself out to say, oh, I can't do this, oh, I can't do that, versus where you should say either you won't or you don't want to. And like I said, I'm going to save that for his video. Go please check it out. But what I particularly wanted to bring this up for is because can't and won't are very two distinguished words. Because for me personally, y'all, I'm someone that is more so the mindset of this. Though I can agree that, yes, you should be very mindful of when you use the word you can't. Because can that psych you out of doing something that you really are more capable of doing so than you realize? Yes. Or like it put like this, right? When you use the word you can't, the thing is when you vocalize that word out into the open, you're giving it power. Versus if you don't get twisted, I'm not saying the same thing can be said when you're speaking it in your head, but it's a whole nother different context when you speak it out into existence. Because, and this, I mean, you know what? I'm gonna cover this in another particular video, but I'm gonna give you all a little snippet of this. That our words carry weight or they carry power. There's power in your tongue. So the thing is, y'all, when I speak, usually I always take into consideration what is the best approach to voice my particular thoughts or my opinion in a way where it's not too confusing, it's not too bland. It has, like a little spice in there, but at the same time, I'm not losing focus of what I'm trying to get at the end of the day. So without that being said, I think when it comes to utilizing that particular word, can't, you have to be very careful because I'm not going to say it can't be a part of your vocabulary, but I would say understand the context of when you're using it and be honest with yourself. For example, y'all, and I'm going to take you guys back to 8-year-old me. 8-year-old me, one night, when I was looking at the night sky, and low key, if I wish I could do this like at nighttime, so I could probably show y'all, but just, use your imagination. Stick with me on this. So what I used to do was look up to the sky, especially, when you're young and they're teaching you like astrology, or they, not astrology necessarily, but teaching you like the constellations, what have you. You look up to the night sky if it's on a good night, and you'll be looking at the constellations, be like, oh, okay, I think that's like Sagittarius, or oh, that's the bill. What's it? What is it? What's it called? The one that looks like a handle. What's it called? What's it called? Big Dipper, Little Dipper, right? So one night I was outside in the front yard, and I saw that we had a full moon that night, and I was looking at the moon, and I looked at my hand. I looked at the palm of my hand, and I looked back up to the sky, looking at the moon, and just really kind of taking back how beautiful it was. Like, I'm not being serious, y'all. It was real beautiful. And I thought to myself, what if I could hold it? And again, I'll remind y'all, I'm 8 years old. So I decided, I said to myself, and the reason I'm laughing, y'all, real quick is because the funny thing is, y'all, again, I'm 8 years old. I don't know that essentially the moon is what? Hundreds, if not thousands, of miles between me and the moon and the size of the moon. But in my mind, I'm looking at the moon like it's like it's the size like a quarter, the size of a quarter, or maybe like a what's them called? What they call y'all? Those what they call? The coins that are like $1. I forget what they call, but you probably know what I'm talking about. Anyhow, I reach up, thinking I'm holding the moon in my hand. I'm grabbing it. Now here's the thing, y'all. I don't know what the fuck the moon feels like. So I'm just making the assumption that I got it in my hand. So I go up, I put my palm in the middle of it, and I close my fists, right? And I pull it all the way. And the thing is, I'm looking at my hand, and I'm pulling it down. I'm not looking at the moon, right? I'm thinking it's in my hand. So I hold it, I'm holding on tight, and I slowly open my hand, and guess what? No moon, right? I look back up at the sky, and the moon's right there. And I thought to myself, did I not do it right? So I did how many times I did? I did maybe about 3 times, going up and get on my tippy toes, right, y'all? Get on my tippy toes, thinking I'm like, oh, maybe I didn't reach far enough to grab it, right? But what I didn't realize was, the truth of the matter, that I couldn't do it, or I can't grab it out of the sky. I can't do that. And see, in that context, that's an appropriate way of utilizing that phrase or that word. But then I look at that, and the reason why I'm telling y'all that particular experience is because every so often, not all the time, but sometimes years after that, I will still look up on the sky, especially when it's a full moon. And even me at the age of 26, I still get that sensation of just wanting to reach out. Again, logically speaking, I'm aware that I can't do that. But then there's always, I think, that part of the childhood that still live within me that thinks to itself, if only I could reach just a little bit higher, I could hold it in my hand. And the thing is this, y'all, just because you can't do X, Y, and Z should not defeat your inner, well, I'd say your inner being, in a sense. What I mean by that is, y'all, like the child, like there are things that as we were children, we could acknowledge at one point in time we couldn't do it. But then we should never discourage ourselves from still acknowledging that what would you say? The impact that our childhood had on us in wanting to do things that yes, may be out of the realm of possibility, but we should never discard that feeling that we still want to try it. Now let's go to want. Now with want, okay, I'm doing good on time. Now with want, the thing is this, and again, this is going back to the Smith Speaks podcast. What's interesting is there are plenty, it's funny, y'all. There's plenty of times I've had it, and I think most of us at one point in time is going to have this sensation of acknowledging we're doing something that deep down we don't want to do, but we have to do it. Like a quick example I'll give y'all. Just a few nights ago, my mother had asked me to come ride with her around the city because one of her friends' brother, who came from overseas, been here in America, he had went missing. And I'm not going all the details about him like that, but just to say that he wasn't in his right mind. And so people like that tend to get themselves lost, even if they're like literally like in front of their own house, right? So excuse me, y'all. So the thing is this: deep down, when she asked me, did I want to go ride with her? Deep down, I wanted to say no. I really don't. But I also took this in consideration. Deep down, even though I don't want to do this, I'll still do it because someone out there is lost, confused, don't know where they're at. Lord knows when the last time they ate or they drank, clean processed water. Okay? Or last time they went to sleep or what have you, never know. And so the thing is this, it goes back to that concept of practice what you preach. How can I, for better or for worse, y'all, how can I preach, not specifically to y'all, but how can I preach, not even to y'all, it's not to y'all, that's the thing. It's more so, how can I preach to myself? That's the thing, y'all. It's more so, how can I preach to myself about all these principles, all these beliefs, all these values that I should uphold myself to if I'm not fulfilling an opportunity to really see what I'm made of? You get what I'm saying? And the thing is this about you won't. I won't discourage myself from it like this, because this is a positive way you can turn it with that concept of won't. I won't beat myself down when I fall short. Meaning, when I can acknowledge that, you know what, I could have done much better in this particular department, I could have done better in this particular instance. Don't discourage yourself from saying you could have done better. You will do better. I won't take away my capacity to give myself grace in this moment. But again, let me remind y'all this. This is coming back now to what I said before about being truthful with yourself when you're using these terms, because they have power. But that power, let me remind y'all this, that power comes from you. Always remember that, y'all. At the end of the day, if I have a sheet of paper and I write the word can't and I write the word won't, and I put it on a table, right? I leave it there for 24 hours. I come back. Guess what's going to happen? That sheet of paper with those two words on it is still going to be there. It ain't going to do nothing on its own. But if I take those two words and I apply those two words into my life, that is the power they uphold, because what I put into them. So the thing is this. The whole purpose now why I want to get to this video is this, y'all. If you're going to use the word can't and you're going to use the word won't, before it comes out of your mouth, think about how you're applying that word, or any word in general that comes to mind. Because again, y'all, I'm being serious about your words have power. And again, I'll probably make a separate video on that. But with all that being said, and I'm doing really good on time. Thank you for checking the video out. Again, if you enjoy my content, please like the video. If you dislike it, by all means, please dislike the video. If you care to subscribe, please subscribe. If you don't, hey, no problem. Post notifications, you want to update them when I do. I was about to say reload. Excuse me, y'all. When I do upload these videos or what have you. And is there anything else I'm forgetting before I come off? Why I say come off? Before I get off of here. No, I think that's it. That's it. But anyhow, y'all, I'll catch y'all later. Peace.